Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, from Russian aristocrat to occult revolutionary. Who was Helena Petrovna Blavatsky? To encounter Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, 1831 to 1891, is to confront one of the most pivotal and polarizing figures in modern spiritual history. More than just the co-founder of the Theosophical Society, she was a metaphysical architect whose voluminous writings and radical ideas fundamentally reshaped the Western world's engagement with Eastern religion, esoteric philosophy, and the very nature of reality itself. She was championed by supporters as a direct messenger of an ancient, hidden wisdom and denounced by critics as a prolific charlatan. Yet, beyond the controversy, her influence is undeniable, seeding ideas that would later flourish in movements from Anthroposophy to the New Age. Understanding Blavatsky is to understand the birth of a unique synthesis, a revised theology for a disillusioned age, built upon the cornerstone of a divine, immortal essence she termed the monad. Born Helena Petrovna Hahn von Rottenstern on August 12, 1831, in Yekaterinoslav, Russian Empire, her life began amidst tumult. Her father, Colonel Pyotr Alexeyevich Hahn von Rottenstern, was absent, fighting in the Polish November Uprising. Her mother, Helena Andreyevna, was a teenage novelist from a distinguished family. The infant Blavatsky survived a cholera epidemic that struck her mother shortly after childbirth, an early sign of a constitution marked by both fragility and incredible resilience. Her childhood was one of privilege and rootlessness, following her father's military postings across the empire. Displaying a strong-willed and unconventional nature from a young age, she received a typical aristocratic education but was largely self-taught in the esoteric subjects that fascinated her. At 17, she entered a brief, unconsummated marriage with the much older Nikifor Blavatsky, primarily to escape familial control. She fled shortly after, embarking on decades of travel that would become the foundational mythos of her authority. She claimed to have spent years studying under masters of the ancient wisdom in Tibet, though these accounts are unverifiable and heavily disputed. By the early 1870s, she surfaced in New York City, immersed in the spiritualist movement but already critical of its simplistic cosmology. In New York, Blavatsky's powerful personality and claimed psychic abilities drew attention. She formed a crucial partnership with Henry Steele Olcott, a lawyer and journalist. Together in November 1875, they co-founded the Theosophical Society alongside William Quan Judge. Its three stated objects were to form a universal human brotherhood, encourage the study of comparative religion and science, and investigate the unexplained laws of nature and humanity's latent powers. This was not mere spiritualism. Blavatsky's first major work, Isis Unveiled, ex 1877, was a sweeping polemic against the materialism of science and the dogma of established religion, particularly the Church. She argued for the existence of an ancient wisdom, a perennial philosophy underlying all world faiths, preserved by a secret brotherhood of adepts. Theosophy, as she defined it, was to be the synthesis of science, religion, and philosophy. In 1879, she and Olcott moved to India, establishing the Society's headquarters in Adyar and founding the journal The Theosophist. This move cemented the Society's mission to repatriate Eastern philosophical concepts to the West, a revolutionary act in the colonial era. Blavatsky's mature theology was fully articulated in her magnum opus, The Secret Doctrine, 1888. This dense, multi-volume work presented a cosmic mythology describing the evolution of universes, solar systems, and humanity through endless cycles of manifestation and dissolution. At the heart of this system are several key interconnected principles. The fundamental unity of all existence, a single unknowable divine principle, Parabram Ein Sof, is the root of all manifested reality. Cyclical evolution, all beings from atoms to galaxies evolve through a series of reincarnations across multiple planes of existence. The law of karma, a universal law of moral cause and effect that governs this evolutionary journey, ensuring justice and learning across lifetimes. The septenary nature of man, human consciousness is not a unity but a composite of 7 interpenetrating principles ranging from the dense physical body to the immortal spiritual essence. This leads to the pinnacle of her metaphysics, the doctrine of the monad. In theosophical terminology, the monad is the immortal, indivisible spark of the divine within each being. It is not the personal self but the eternal, reincarnating entity that descends into matter to gain experience and evolve back toward its source. Blavatsky describes it as that homogeneous spark which radiates in millions of rays from the primeval 7. These 7 are the Dhyani Buddhas or solar logoi, the highest manifested intelligences who act as the monadic fathers for humanity. Thus, each human monad is a ray from a specific father or divine prototype, embarking on a cosmic pilgrimage through form. This concept of a direct, personal lineage to a divine parent forms the core of Blavatsky's revised theology, offering a path to deification through self-conscious evolution. Blavatsky's career was never free from scandal. She was repeatedly accused of fabricating the paranormal phenomena she produced, most notably in the 1885 report by the Society for Psychical Research, which declared her a fraud. Her health, always precarious, deteriorated under the strain. She spent her final years in London, producing profound shorter works like The Key to Theosophy and the poetic The Voice of the Silence, before dying of influenza in 1891. Despite, or perhaps because of the controversy, her impact was profound and diffuse. She introduced countless Westerners to concepts like karma, reincarnation, and the spiritual hierarchy of masters. She inspired direct successors like Annie Besant and indirectly fueled the work of Rudolf Steiner, Anthroposophy, and later, the entire New Age movement. Her emphasis on the individual's divine spark, the monad, and its evolutionary journey provided a spiritually rigorous alternative to both orthodox religion and sterile materialism. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky remains an enigma, a woman of immense erudition and apparent psychic gifts, yet one who blurred the lines between revelation and fabrication. She was a catalyst who forced open a dialogue between East and West, between science and mysticism. Whether viewed as a sage or a sham, her constructed theology, with the journey of the monadic spark at its center, irrevocably altered the spiritual landscape of the modern world.